everyone and welcome to my thank card. It's Friday. Today we'll be making this Mother's Day card, and what it is, you start it off when it's flat, and then as you press it down it turns into like a pop-up card. Isn't it fantastic? So this is what we're doing for the kids class this Saturday, and I will do another version today for you. So the colour cardstock combination we'll be using is Cherry Cobbler, Always Artichoke and Very Vanilla. Now the Cherry Cobbler, and that's the base of the card, and that's really not that many pieces that you need. This here is an 11" by 4½. Now you score, so there's a lot of scoring on here just to get that box component. So you score at 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5½, 7 1/4, 8 1/4 and 10 inches. Okay, and then you actually do a split at the 5½ mark, and you can create as big or as little as you want depending on the size of your cardstock you want to put in. Okay, so this one here is 5½ by 3 inches. So let's get stamping and show you what the card. I haven't created the card yet, so you're going to actually see this process done. Okay, so I'm just used my Versamark ink pad, and I have used the Bordering on Romance stamp set, this beautiful one here, and I thought it would make a great Mother's Day. I've stamped using Versamark ink, and I'm just on my Very Vanilla cardstock, and I just use white embossing powder. I'm going to heat that up. Okay, so just using my heat gun, I've heated up the white embossing powder on Very Vanilla. Okay, and now I'm going to grab my Always Artichoke and a sponge, and I'm just going to grab some ink, and I'm going to burnish. I'll just grab some scrap piece of paper, burnish over that in circular motions. To make the image pop. So I'm just going to work my way all around this, and I'll zoom in so you can see the work. Alright, so pretty much all I've done is, as I said, I've just burnished the ink, and then I'm just going to coat around the edges using Always Artichoke. Just make it a little bit heavy on the sides. Just get a good nice coating around the edges, alright? Alright, so I'm just going to grab a tissue and just wipe away the excess Always Artichoke ink to make that white pop. So that's the background I've wanted to achieve with this background for this image here. So I'm going to snail that down. Okay, so it adhered both pieces down, so I did a smaller version of that using the same technique, sponging around the side and embossing with white embossing powder on Very Vanilla and sponging, burnishing in circular motions the Always Artichoke ink on these pieces. Now I reckon that makes it look really vintagey. Now to make it even look more rustic, I even put some extra ink, Always Artichoke, around the edges just to create that little bit more depth on this Always Artichoke. It's such a nice colour. It's a colour I don't use very often, but it is a beautiful, nice, rich colour. Okay. Alright, so now you can either use your bone folder or just fold all across these scored lines on your card base of the Cherry Cobbler, and I'm just going to use that little flower. So all these little flower elements and stamps are from this Bordering Romance, and I'm going to use Always Artichoke, and either side of that slit is where I'm going to stamp. Okay. Oh, I'm going to zoom in so you can check out my artwork. Alright, so I'm just creating like just little floral around that part only, because that's the part of the top of the box that you will see. Okay. Now, grabbing your sticky strip, you're going to put sticky strip at the end, because as you fold it like this, you're going to grab your sticky strip and put 2 slots on either side of those panels there. Okay, so let me just grab my sticky strip. So I've put 2 rows of sticky strip on both sides here, and I'm just going to grab my centerpiece, place it in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to, the sticky strips on the outside, see that? And then I'm going to grab the end and line it up carefully right to the end and press that down. Now, also taking the sticky strip off the other side, folding it down and meeting that other side of that centerpiece, okay? And that's how it gets stuck down, and then you just push it forward. Push it down like that. So get it used to it, get the slit happening, fiddle around with it so it's all cool like that. Isn't that so fantastic? I just think this is such a really cool card. I showed my husband and he goes, that's just crazy what you can do with cardstock. Alright, so now we're going to add all the embellishments to the rest of this. I'm going to be using my seam binding ribbon, and it's the very vanilla ribbon, and I'm just wrapping it right around, and I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm not going to do a fancy bow, just tying a knot. If I can stop having fumble fingers. Feed that through. Okay. Now I have a different pair of scissors for my ribbon, just to keep them nice and sharp. So you can pretty much just fiddle with that and how you'd like it. I might give that a little bit of a trim down. And I'm going to stick this piece onto that bit. I'm actually going to put a little bit of snail underneath this seam binding because it's not as tight as what I would like. So just a little bit to hold that down. And I'm just lining that down. Okay, so using my boho punch, I'm going to punch out some cherry cobbler. Now, a little tip that I wanted to show you is I actually use my white gel pen to work my flowers and make it more add a little dimension to it. I don't have a little like I think one that's got ball bearings at the end or anything like that, but I find this technique works for me. So all I do is work the cardstock, just pressing down, and you can see how it's actually made it pop up. Can you see the flowers, how it's done that? I've stuck the flowers together using my two-way glue pen. I am going to use my Stampin' Up! Glue dots for the back of this flower because it's a stronger adhesive, and I do want it to stay on this card front here and not move. Alright, So that's just a real simple card, but you know, with the right colours, and the card itself is such a wow card. So just work the card a little bit. Oh, I didn't stick that down properly. So again, using my two-way glue pen, I'm going to adhere the M from the mum down. Okay. Just pressing that down, and you have to work this a little bit, and it folds down quite nice, except when the camera is blurry. So that's the card, the thank card. It's Friday, and just working it so it's a pop-up card and it stands up. Isn't it pretty? I love this card. So the kids class tomorrow we're doing for Mother's Day is this cute little pink one. Now this here, this design is actually, I got it from Dawn5377 on YouTube. So I got the dimensions from her, and I just made it to my own. So these are the cards. I hope you enjoy this thank card. It's Friday. It'll be probably a little bit of a dodgy YouTube clip considering my kids are running around in the background. So thank you for being patient and watching my YouTube channel. Have a good weekend and happy Mother's Day to those beautiful mothers out there.